Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, world. You're welcome to Morning Spring on Western Spring Television, the week ending edition, the month ending edition of Morning Spring. Is the end of the working week, and of course, it's the end of this month of October, year 2025. Thank you for staying with us all week. Thank you for staying with us all month. And it's a great privilege to know that you're always here with us. On the program, we look at issues in the public space, issues that are worth talking about. If actually at all is worth talking about, this is where you get to hear it first. And of course, we say it as it is on Western Spring Television. And so much to really talk about. And of course, it's a good news season. But you get to know about that at the end, towards the end of the program today. We look at papers. These are headlines from our major dailies every day. And of course, it is to intimate you, to inform you, to educate you, to get you updated about happenings in our nation, the world over, the national level, even at the subnational level at times. And this is exactly what we are going to do today. Femi Joe is my name, and I welcome you so much to really look into today. The new service chiefs actually, have been confirmed, and of course, they were at the villa yesterday for their, dressing. Actually, that's what it's called, dressing. And of course, they had the mandate again from Mr. President, who has told them, every threat available, please neutralize it. Even new threats, neutralize it. The president said, we can't wait to congratulate. Nigerians can't wait to celebrate this victory that is much needed, that we are all yearning for. That is the victory against these criminals. And so that is what it will be. And of course, all of them, the new Army chief, the new Naval chief, the new Air Force chief, the defense chief, the chief of intelligence, all of them, that Emmanuel Udeode, by the way, retained his position, but then all of them have been given that marching order, the go-ahead by Mr. President to say, guys, we have a lot of work to do. We can't afford to fail Nigerians. Nigerians are yearning and they are eager, actually, to celebrate. So you have your work cut out for you. The one thing is this, ladies and gentlemen, I've always talked about is the issue of timelines. We can't afford to just give a blanket directive that we don't have deliverables. Actually, how will it be measured? Okay, they just taking the reins, let's say this week now. And so you can tell them between now and April next year, maybe 3 months, between now and February or January, in 3 months, what have you been able to do? In 6 months, what have you been able to do? Because this is not just something that we can leave, to ambiguity. Are you working? Yes, I'm working. But we're able to neutralize 8 bandits. Okay, prevent this and that. No, deliverables. Where are we right now? They must take a stock. How are these criminals running around the place, wrecking havoc? What is the pattern? What have they been able to do at this time? And then we lay our hands on it in the next 6 months. This is what we have been able to do. The much you have been to the recovery of arms, small arms, military-grade weapons, and all of those things, prevention, foiling of these attempts, and rooting them off our land. I think that's more better than just saying we have a work to do it. Nigerians can't wait to congratulate themselves and to celebrate the victory, neutralize and eliminate new threats and all of those things, which is fine. But how about our line? Deliverables, KPIs. That is more like what Nigerians wanted. And that's the way it's going to be. And the newspapers are in. I don't want to keep you from seeing what it looks like. Very interesting headline. I must tell you, you get to see these headlines. That will be after now. Stay with us. All right, the newspaper segment is next right now. And of course, let's start with these. The Nigerian Tribune. The Nigerian Tribune for today. Southwest leaders want Tinubu to prioritize regional integration. Southwest leaders want Tinubu to prioritize regional integration. With riders lament deplorable state of federal roads in region and push for Yoruba unity, good governance. Lament deplorable state of federal roads in region, push for Yoruba unity, good governance. And Adeleke decries unjust attitude of federal government towards federating states, says, I'm too popular to be afraid. Interesting. Adeleke decries unjust attitude of federal government towards federating states, says, I am too popular to be afraid. And you know, when you talk about the governor of Osun State, your mind will easily go to the local government in Broglio, that is, in Osun State, the release or the seizure of the local government funds is released, because you are not even sure if it's released or not, and the back and forth between the APC and the PDP in Osun State about who is the authentic, mandate owner of the local government administration in Osun State, which has been comatose since February. And there has been different court cases, and maybe the last that many persons are expecting is the Supreme Court ruling. And the governor, Ademola Adeleke, is saying, I am too popular to be afraid. Afraid of who? All right, as they say, moving on. 6 dead, 2 trapped in multiple accidents on Kara Bridge. Sad one. 6 dead, 2 trapped in multiple accidents on Kara Bridge. Another 5 die in Ondo crash. These are terrible, terrible times. Actually, we must be very careful. The roads largely are bad, actually. But then we must be very careful as individuals as well. Make sure your vehicle, as much as it depends on you, is in good shape, and make sure your heads and whatever you are doing, actually, because driving is about decision making, and if it goes awry, the consequences might be fatal. Just it has been reported here: 6 dead, 2 trapped in multiple accidents on Kara Bridge. The Kara Bridge is a link bridge between Ogun State and Lagos, actually, and it's sad that is happening. And for people who knows the Kara Bridge, it's quite a big one, actually. The roads there, the highway, whenever you leave Mowe Bafo and you're on your way to Bega, quite a big bridge. And so sometimes you wonder what really happened, when these things happen. Moving on, SEC partners CBN, EFCC to track and freeze illicit digital wallets. SEC partners CBN, EFCC to track, freeze illicit digital wallets. All right, and beside that, you have the picture at the villa yesterday. The first is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu congratulating the Chief of Defense Staff, General Olufemi Olatobosun Oluyede, at the presidential villa Abuja on Thursday. That was yesterday. And next to that, the Chief of Defense Intelligence, Lieutenant General Emmanuel Udede, supported by his wife, Mrs. Jane Echo Udede, at the presidential villa. Still, and below that, Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sunday Kevin Aneke, President, and with the President, Tinubu and Mrs. Ngozi and Nedlin Aneke, that's the wife. And of course, lastly, President Tinubu congratulating the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Idi Abbas. Congratulations to them, and we wish them all the best. Let them get to work very, very quickly. Tinubu to service chiefs. Nigerians expect results, not excuses. Exactly. Results now, result later, result tomorrow. Good result. Make sustain the result, renewed effort, and result against these criminals. Major shakeup as army redeploys, appoint top officers, right? And of course, tongues are still wagging. Tongues are still very much wagging about the coup attempt, the officers that have been rounded off, the ranks of those officers, the connection of the non-military individuals, as they say, time shall tell. Major shake up as army redeploys, appoint top officers. And Borno begins export of plastic materials to improve IGL. Borno begins export of plastic materials to improve IGL. That's on page 12. That's a good way to see it. Good thing, actually. An expert, one of tougher times as federal government approves 15% import duty on petrol and diesel. Expert, one of tougher times as federal government approves 15% import duty on petrol and diesel. Actually, it means for those that are planning on still importing, very soon they will have, they have been slammed 15%. Maybe, some would say, maybe it's to encourage local buy, actually, because some might say, why are you still buying diesel, buying PMS, importing out of the country? Why you have an engineers company like that of Dangote? And some are saying, wait a minute, is this done to support Dangote and, to force marketers from buying from him, to force them to buy from him? All right. It's just it because 15% tariff has been slammed on, the importation of PMS and diesel into Nigeria. So, who gets to pay? Your guess is as good as mine. ADA, ASP, 6 other associations for next stage of party registration. ADA, ADA, they call it around here, ASP, but not in the rank of police. ASP, 6 other associations for next stage of party registration. All right. How to manage and prevent stomach cancer. Medical report. You might want to see that. And that will be all from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune for today. Let's see what the Guardian has for us. The Guardian for today, quite a busy front page here. Justice on trial as court battle neglect, infrastructure deficit. The Guardian has that. Justice on trial as courts battle neglect and infrastructure deficit. All right, and there you go. The big story, pages 4 and 5, the picture of the CGN Milord, Kudirat, Kekere Kun, and the pictures of some of the courts that are being shown here, the shelf places that records are being kept. In fact, this particular court house that is shown at the left side of the paper, some would say maybe this is fairly okay as compared to some courts, especially those lower courts, the magistrate courts. Some of them, you feel like not sitting down. If you visit the place, the old rural rugged benches are what are available there, and some of them the ceiling is non-existent. And then you even wonder what kind of justice can be served in this particular place. And they say that's the state of many courts in Nigeria. All right, petrol may eat 1,163 naira per litre as federal government targets 4.8 trillion yearly from fresh tariff. Petrol may hit 1,163 naira per litre as federal government targets 4.8 trillion naira yearly from fresh tariff. All right, and APC gains upper hand in House as defections reshape power balance. APC gains upper hand in House as defections reshape power balance. That's just the way it is. It seems like the APC now has the 2/3 majority at the House of Reps, and I think they do have the same thing at the Senate as well. So they are really in power. That's what it means. But what are they using this power for? For what gain? Actually, interesting. And here, bottom strip rather, Anambra Guba polls EU partners call for ban on non-statutory security groups. Anambra Guba polls EU partners call for ban on non-statutory security groups, all right. And 8 of 14 new parties scale documentation hurdle. INEC says 8 of 14 new parties scale documentation hurdle. INEC says, and away from that, Orlando records 164% growth as profit hit 210 billion in 9 months. Orlando records 164% growth as profit hit 210 billion naira in 9 months. And JAM probes 10 staffers over corrupt practices. JAM probes 10 staffers over corrupt practices. And I think they need to dig very deep, because when you talk about these examination bodies, they are supposed to be scenting of integrity, because of the credibility of the exams that has been written. But when you have bad eggs, they must be quickly identified, fished out, punished, actually, to serve a deterrence to others and to maintain the credibility and integrity of such a body, as sensitive as the Joint Admission and Matriculations Board, JAMB. All right. And CBN, banks can downgrade licenses if unable to meet recapitalization threshold. First in business page 19, hashtag CBN, banks can downgrade licenses if unable to meet recapitalization threshold, and Nigeria shouldn't be among hunger-stricken countries. P2B says Obi. Nigeria shouldn't be among hunger-stricken countries, says Obi. And I'm sure many Nigerians believe that, if actually we have good leadership over the years to where we are right now. What is Nigeria's, concern or association with hunger? It shouldn't be. We have arable lands almost everywhere, actually, and other things that will support, apart from agriculture, if actually our leaders have always been doing what is right, and they are still doing what is right now. Nigeria has no business with hunger at all. But then here we are being categorized, it is what it is. All right. Nigerians expect result, not excuses, Tinubu tells service chiefs. Nigerians expect result, not excuses, Tinubu tells service chiefs. All right, and I think that's fair to say. Away from that, let's see the Daily Sun for today. Shine very brightly. Daily Sun, Tinubu gives new military chiefs marching others. There you go. Tinubu gives a new military chiefs marching others with riders, direct officers to restore peace, flush out insurgents, smash new threats. Says Nigerians expect results, not excuses. That's what it is. Flush out insurgents, direct officers to restore peace, smash new threats. All right, so away from that, Nigeria's Conga Group CEO Prince AK wins Forbes Euro Knowledge Global Awards. All right, so much for and so good for indigenous company doing well globally. Away from that, the bottom strip, federal government closed to single window policy implementation at ports, says Shatima. Federal government closed to single window policy implementation at port, says Shatima. And NLC furious over move to amend NSITF ECA Act, vows to resist plan. NLC furious over move to amend NSITF and ECA Act, vows to resist plan. And Adeleke accuses federal government of withholding Osun LG allocation for political reason. Adeleke accuses federal government of withholding Osun LG allocation for political reason. All right, the governor appears to be tough, if actually he is. Because a paper reported earlier, you reported the governor to have said he's too popular, actually, to be afraid. All right, Tinubu approves 4 trillion naira bond to clear power sector debts. Tinubu approves 4 trillion naira bond to clear power sector debts. All right, away from that, top stream, Nigerians will suffer over 15% fuel import tariff. APC chieftain warns, says President Tinubu, ill-advised. Nigerians will suffer over 15% fuel import tariff. APC chieftain warns, says President Tinubu ill-advised. And defection, presidency, APC governance, APC NWC to receive DIRI on Monday. Defection, presidency, APC governance, APC NWC to receive DIRI on Monday. And with a rider, 6 Enugu reps dump opposition parties for APC change. All right, interesting. And lastly, for today, the Daily Trust newspaper, the Daily Trust, trusting in what they have to give us daily. Fuel price may go up, marketers. And you already know why. Because of the 15% tariff that has been slammed on the importation, of PMS and diesel. Fuel price may go up, marketers, right? And I'm not sure Nigerians can afford to have that right now again. Now, there is this picture of fire outbreak at a section of the Jabi Lake Mall, the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, yesterday. Wow, this is terrible. And these are the carcasses and the remains of a mall. Actually, a section of the Jabi Lake Mall in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, yesterday. Sad and sad. If we can, let's be more careful if it lies, within us. And you can see when that property was in flames in the other insert in those pictures. An alleged coup plot. Brigadier General, colonels, others under probe. Alleged coup plot, Brigadier General, colonels, and the others under probe, with riders 8 die, with other stories rather, headlines, 8 die in Lagos Ibadan Expressway crash. Cameroon's opposition leader flees. UN, France won against repression. UN, France won against repression, and air travelers kick as NCAA introduces $11.5 security levy. Air travelers kick as NCAA introduces $11.5 security levy. Who takes this levy? Who is putting it there? For what purpose? Is it a global standard? Is it a national thing? Or whatever you might want to look at, page 14 of the Daily Trust. To have that. An army redeploys 67 generals. Tinubu demands a result. Again, army redeploys 67 generals. Tinubu demands results. And what APC can do with 2/3 National Assembly majority? What APC can do with 2/3 National Assembly majority? Can I have the 2/3? Both, ends, the green chamber and the red chamber. If I just say APC has 2/3 at the National Assembly, so what would they be able to do with these? For whose benefit? Question. And Bauchi to create additional 29 local government areas, 6 National Assembly approval. Interesting. Bauchi to create additional 29 local government areas, 6 National Assembly approval. How will they be able to do that? Because LCDAs are not popular. Again, the only thing remaining right now is the approval of the National Assembly. How far can they go? Discusses, many persons would like to know. All right. And that will be all from the front page of the Daily Trust for today. And of course, we take a pause from, the newspaper's headline segment. And when we come back, we speak to critical issues, especially when it has to do with doing things rightly in Nigeria. Some have talked about nepotism taking too far, and some have said maybe it is just who we are. And I'm sure you want to know what I'm talking about, but that will be after now. We are live on Western Spring Television, channel 190 on StarTimes DTT, and also beaming live on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television. NG is the TGIF, the weekending edition, the month-ending edition for the month of October. By tomorrow, it will be the dawn of a new day and the dawn of a new month, the 11th month of the year. But for now, stay with us.